I left it alone, and I stopped thinking about it. Up until about 9 months later, when I made a tweet about how the demons in the show are kinda weird, and people sent me death threats. So now I get to use the power of my YouTube channel to prove my point.
Well, you can always tell that a video essay is going to be well-informed and balanced when it's made out of spite to our particular fandom. Hello everybody and welcome to the Damn Fan Channel. We're going to be talking about demon posting. Now for those of you who don't know, the term demon posting originally I believe comes from the term bug posting, which is this idea that certain types of people will try to defend the villains in all media even if they are inhuman in nature. And the term bug posting actually comes from the movie Starship Troopers, where people defend the bugs. And obviously this is applied to many other types of media, but in this case we're talking about Frieren. Now the main antagonists that are introduced in this series are demons, and so here we have a classic case of a demon poster who just wants to defend the demons and insinuate that it is wrong to kill demons and that Frieren is doing a big bad. The issue that I take with it is how deceptive he is when he makes a lot of the points that he makes. He misinterprets a lot of things, and I'm not sure if that's just because he himself didn't understand the material when he watched or read Frieren, or if it's because he's purposefully misconstruing it to prove his point in the video. So I'm gonna bring up some of the points that he makes, and I'm just gonna give my thoughts on this demon poster here.
There is no, evil god or dark magic that really created them, like in most fantasy settings. They seemingly don't have any connection to divinity at all. They're just a species of creature, same as everything else.
What are you talking about? You don't know that, because we don't actually get to know what the origins of demons are.
And it's even revealed that they're a product of evolution.
Evolving from your original state does not necessarily debunk that you were created by something. Keep in mind, guys, there is a goddess of creation. Now, yes, there's a lot of things that aren't known about the goddess yet. There's a lot of mystery behind her, people questioning whether or not she actually does exist, but her magic is very real and scattered throughout the entire Frieren universe. So then the question becomes, did humans come from the goddess? Did demons come from the goddess? Are there other deities besides her? Do demons reproduce the same way humans do? I mean, we don't know. They could just come out of pits. They could come out of portals from somewhere else. We literally don't know what the demon origin is. But as we see when they die, they dissolve into mana particles. So this does solidify that monsters and demons, wherever they originated, they have a similar origin. An origin that is separate from everything else on Earth.
They're just a species of creature, same as everything else.
Wrong.
One of the demons is threatened by someone over the death of their son, to which the demon responds by saying they too lost a father, which spares their life. Yet later, when it's just two demons alone together, one of them asks what a father even is, and they don't know. This is a scene that completely baffles me, because why would the other demon even bother to ask this question? One, this means that demons seemingly don't have their own language and just use human speech to talk to each other, even when humans aren't around, which directly contradicts them telling us there's only one reason they speak like humans. To inquire about it further means they have a willingness to understand human language beyond just deception and out of genuine curiosity.
Even in the example that he's using, the only reason these demons are talking to each other or sharing any information is to achieve their goal of getting the city to remove its protective barrier. So technically, yeah, they are still using their speech as a weapon. If you can accept that demons adapted enough to take on the appearance of humans and talk like them, then why would it be absurd to also accept that they share information with each other to better achieve a common goal of oppressing humans? She doesn't understand the concept of a father, but maybe if she did, she could also utilize it to manipulate a human like Lugnir did. However, the demon poster here misconstrues this to meaning the only reason why demons speak any language ever and ever communicate with anyone is to deceive. And then he uses that as a point to be like, well, they use language to communicate with each other, though, and say other things besides deception. Sometimes they don't lie. The concept is telling you that all demon speech is meant to reach the same goal of destroying humanity, but the demon poster seems to take it super literally, to mean that demons actually lack the ability to speak unless they are speaking lies to a human.
It shows they lie out of self-preservation, which is also strange because we're explicitly told they are being deceptive by doing this, yet they are genuinely begging for their life.
Yes, the way that they beg for their life is very deceptive, because they are trying to convince you that they are just like you, and that you should feel bad for them actually, despite the fact that they did a bunch of terrible things to you. If they were being genuine, then they wouldn't have to lie. They lie this way because they know that this is how humans get empathy from other humans. And they do this not only to save their own skin, they also do it so that they can make humans drop their guard. Because the fact of the matter is, whether or not a human shows a demon mercy, it doesn't change their ultimate goal. It doesn't change their instinct to continue to prey on humans. And being evil does not mean that you don't have any self-preservation. In fact, they make it a point to say throughout the series that they have a big sense of ego and pride. All of the actions that the demons take are out of some form of selfishness. It's for their own benefit. The demon girl who ate another woman's child did not feel empathy towards the child even as they were crying out for their mother to help them. Instead, what they did was they utilized the knowledge that you could cry out for a mother to help you to try to save her own life. The demon poster in this video tries to claim that they do have empathy and that they're not just, self-absorbed or egotistical. They have empathy for each other. And the example he gives to this being legit and not just his projection is a single scene, a single example that he wildly misinterprets. And this is the scene where Lugnir is being shot by Fern. He yells out to Linny, and Mr. Demon Poster interpreted this as him crying out for his ally because he's so sad that she's dead. No, Linny! And to give complete context behind the scene that he's referring to, Lugnir's original plan was to buy time and wait until Fern's mana was exhausted. But while he was on the defense, he was losing magic while she was perfectly fine. And because Linny was originally so overconfident that she could beat Stark no problem, he's getting more and more annoyed with her that she's not ready to help him yet. So yes, he was yelling out to Linny to help him, and when he turned, he realized she was dead. He turns back, is fucking looking dead in the face of Fern, quite frankly. And it doesn't matter, because he's out of magic. He doesn't have any left. That's why he loses. It doesn't matter that he looks away for a brief while. That's not what determined the end of the fight. That's also why he was so desperate when he called out to her. It was because he knew that he was going to fucking die.
After it's already been established, they can sense when another demon dies. So this feels almost intentionally written, like the demon is crying out because their ally died.
Now, another big misinterpretation that he takes from this scene is this idea that mana detection is not skill-based. He seems to think that mana detection is strictly a demon thing, like they have a hive mind and can tell when another demon nearby has died based on their mana detection. So he thinks that Lugnir already knew that Linny was dead.
It's totally made up. Pure fiction. It's fiction.
Like I said, I don't know if this is purposeful misinterpretation to prove his own point, or if he genuinely just didn't understand what he watched. Mana detection is a skill that anyone who knows magic can learn to get much better at. Linny, in this case, has very impressive mana detection, which is all the more reason why she is always the one who is telling Lugnir she senses somebody's mana, because she is better at it than he is.
Doradoの魔力が探知できない。リグナー様、魔法使いの反応が。
リーニエの魔力探知をかいくぐっただと。
She can sense mana from very long distances. He cannot. And later on, we get introduced to human characters who can also sense mana from very long distances. This is not a specific demon trait. Furthermore, when Linny first reveals to Lugnir that their other companion, Drat, is dead, he doesn't give a fuck! He opens up a book and starts reading, and he's like, I guess he's fucking dead. And this particularly bugs me because his wild misinterpretation of this scene he thinks is a great foundation for the rest of this video's argument.
That when that demon from earlier, the one who cried out at their ally dying, learns that Frieren was concealing her mana, they call her a coward. They are visibly disgusted by it. Because again, demons are proud of their mana and think concealing it is a lowly thing to do. So the demon's morality might not align with ours. They're still totally okay with killing after all, but they must have some sense of morality to believe concealing mana to trick them is wrong. There is no reason they would react this way if they didn't. A truly immoral being would not think there is such a thing as an action that is wrong.
So if I wear socks on my hands and a demon corrects me to tell me I'm wearing the socks wrong, that instantly means he's a moral creature? You have a very loosey-goosey definition of morals, my dude. The fact that demons wouldn't like you concealing your mana and find it gross is because their entire society is based on a hierarchy of power. They only listen to demons that are stronger than them, because those stronger demons can kill them.
They're eating her! And then they're going to eat me! Oh my god!
If anything, this behavior can be classified as more bestial than human. But if you break morality down to its barest of elements and claim that any sort of hierarchy or any sort of culture counts as some sort of system of morality, then you would have to apply it to animals and other creatures on Earth too. Animals also have systems of hierarchy, but the fact of the matter is we don't apply morality to animals, because morality and ethics are human-made systems meant to only be used to describe human societies. But if we were to apply morality to creatures other than human, then how would we apply it? How would we go about this? Well, I think since morality is a human-made concept meant to apply to humans, we should only measure another creature's morality by how well it benefits humans. And last time I checked, demons do not benefit humans in any way. In fact, they do the opposite, so they would be classified as quite immoral.
It's the story most fantasy series take inspiration from, because it's the Lord of the Rings.
Now, I don't even know if it's worth going over the section where he talks about Lord of the Rings, because it is kind of a tangent just to be like, oh, and also this other thing, they're not evil either. And now I'm gonna apply this logic that I applied on Lord of the Rings, I'm gonna apply it on Frieren now.
Basically every evil, intelligent character in the novels, from Saruman to Grima Wormtongue, were not evil to begin with. They've simply been turned evil over time. The only creatures that are described as being totally 100% evil from birth are beings created by Morgoth, who we're told are evil because they don't have souls. Yet the orcs are never given this mercy. They're never given the chance to change. The characters never even think of the possibility of them being redeemable.
So yes, we're going from demon posting to orc posting. I do find it funny how he starts off this section by saying bluntly that Tolkien never said how he felt about this topic, and then proceeds to tell you how Tolkien felt about this topic. But if we are to assume that everything he says is true, he talks about how Tolkien wasn't sure if he should give the orcs souls or not, because he wanted orcs to represent a corruption. So supposedly the question became, if the orcs came from humans, then should they have human souls? And if they have human souls, should they have the potential to be good? Because according to the demon poster, a soul was a blank slate, and it was by default good. Now, this is not actually what Catholicism says, despite the fact that he seems to think that it's what Catholicism says. He's confusing Christianity with the blank slate theory, which are completely separate from one another. But look at this guy, you know he's never read a Bible. It's also worth noting that the book he is quoting, Morgoth's Ring, was not actually written by Tolkien. It was written by his son, who was using Tolkien's leftover notes and ideas and writings to kind of form a what could have been type of lore book. And even his son says in the book that he didn't really understand all of the notes and that he's never gonna really fully capture what Tolkien had in mind for the lore. And even the quote quote that he pulls in order to prove his point, he explicitly states that they are irredeemable and implies that they can only be redeemed by God, presumably in the afterlife, meaning that they'd have to be already fucking dead, bro. And then he literally ends this section by applying this concept to Frieren despite it being a completely different story with completely different lore.
If demons are pure evil, they shouldn't really be sentient, and if the demons are sentient, they shouldn't be pure evil. However, demons in Frieren are shown to be clearly sentient.
This is kind of just clearly an example of someone not being able to absorb any new concepts. It seems like he just applied his own personal philosophy onto Frieren and then got mad when it didn't match up with his own personal philosophy.
You can make a strong argument that they express empathy too.
A strong argument? He pulled up a scene that lasts less than 3 seconds. He thinks that that's a strong argument. Oh my god. The yelling out for Linny. Linny! He then gives himself big pats on the back by saying that Tolkien would totally agree with him that the demons should be redeemable in Frieren.
So if we handed Frieren to Tolkien and asked him to evaluate it, I strongly believe that he'd think the demons weren't worthy of mindlessly killing.
Yeah, I'm sure Tolkien would totally agree with you and love you and get along with you really well. I'm sure he'd read your book from high school and be like, wow, this is way better than anything I've ever written. You're so talented and smart.
They should have a soul. They should have a soul.
Wait. Did he just say they should have a soul? Hold on a second, pause the video. Should have a soul. They do have souls. Aura literally weighs her soul and Frieren's soul on the scales. Does he not know that they have souls in the Frieren universe?
Even removing the concept of souls, religion, and definitive morality given by God entirely, which is pretty easy to do because Frieren is a bit more agnostic.
Oh my god, he does not know. I thought that's where he was going with this. I thought he only mentioned Lord of the Rings to bring up the concept of souls, and then declare because the demons have souls in the Frieren universe, they must be good souls. But somehow he watched and read all of Frieren, but didn't know the demons had souls. Now, this is an absurd amount of information to get wrong about a series, I gotta say. Especially if you're writing a video essay about it. Guys, audience, you guys in the comment section, if you are ever writing a video essay about the highest rated anime of all time, would you get this much information wrong? It's not even like what I'm referring to as some hidden scene or some widely debated information in Frieren universe. It's one of the most well-known scenes in the entire series, is where Aura weighs her soul on the scales of obedience. And somehow he went on this whole tangent talking about souls without even mentioning demonic souls in Frieren. Now, I can understand him maybe getting confused about mana detection. I can maybe understand him getting confused about the Linny scene, but there's no way you can look at a screen, very clearly and visually see a soul, and somehow miss it. And the fact that demons do have souls in Frieren doesn't even prove his point. Sure, some people might interpret souls as being the consciousness, but a lot of people also interpret the souls as just being a life force. And when we do see Aura's soul compared to Frieren's, we can see that it's very visually different, because it shows that they are created completely different from the ground up. Even their souls are evil. Sure, maybe Tolkien didn't have this concept of an evil soul, but that doesn't mean that Frieren doesn't have this concept. It's almost like they tried to do something different.
Oh my god!
Orcs and demons are sentient, intelligent, and morally capable beings. They already have their own system of morality. There's no reason they couldn't adopt another.
There is a reason, actually. It's explicitly stated in the show because they biologically cannot do it. That's like saying, oh, well, lions already eat meat, so there's no reason why they wouldn't be able to eat tofu.
And I've seen people argue that morality shouldn't even be applied to the demons at all because of this. The specific line I've seen used being, they're like a house cat killing mice. But I'd just like to remind you, unlike a house cat or a tiger or a bear or whatever, demons are intelligent enough to understand how their actions affect people. And they already have an understanding of morality. They just don't understand that killing people is wrong.
Essentially, his plan is that we should train them like Pokemon. It's funny how he repeats that they're intelligent multiple times throughout his video essay, and then when it's convenient for him, he suggests that they're a bunch of savages who don't know any better, and that we, the intelligent superior species, must teach them our ways. Well, since you inadvertently complimented the human race, I'll play along with your little hypothetical. So let's say the plan is to artificially instill our morals into the demons. They might not be able to feel empathy, but they can still understand it enough to use it against us, and maybe out of fear we can get them to play by our rules. Well, given that most demons are not interested in learning our rules or our way of life, we'll probably have to do this by force. So with that in mind, we should start by at least just capturing them with Pokeballs. And since it's already well established that they are very ego-oriented creatures, we'll probably have to break their will a little bit. Maybe with some forced labor. Oh, and since they live much longer than humans, this will have to go on for maybe a couple hundred or 1,000 years before they actually have their will broken, since, you know, they experience time differently than humans do. And surely after thousands and thousands of years of enslaving demons to do our hard labor for us, soon they'll see things our way.
All the pieces are coming together.
Okay, no, but seriously, we already know that demons are by default much stronger than humans, and that they would not willingly go along with this plan. Which means that a lot of humans would die in the process of trying to convert them. And who knows how many thousands of years it would take to actually successfully convert one. Meanwhile, there are new demons being born by unknown forces. And how are you going to keep on accounting for all these new demons that are brought into the world? So yeah, Frieren is right in her assessment that the human species would probably go extinct before being able to successfully convert a demon, even if artificially. Which means that the ethical thing to do is to kill them, because it will result in less loss of human life. Now we get into the section of the video where he starts talking about spoilers. I'm gonna do my best to talk about this section of the video without giving away any pivotal spoilers that would ruin your experience watching or reading. So one of the most atrocious things that he does in this video essay is he pulls up a panel from a demon saying that they're sad that they lost their friends. And he presents it that way. He's like, oh, look at this panel of a demon saying that they're sad that they lost their friends. That's more proof of empathy. Literally, the next page, she says that she's lying. And the person that she came to talk to, she says her actual intentions are to kill them. So this is very deceptive. And at this point, I'm losing all faith that he's making these mistakes by accident. You'd have to be completely illiterate to have not read the page that comes afterwards. Part of the arc that he's talking about also involves a partnership with a demon, and he purposefully mistranslates the term partner in crime to being best friend. This is obviously a very emotionally manipulative way to approach your video essay. This guy is like a poster child for the unreliable narrator. There's a scene later down the line where this demon goes to see his supposed best friend, according to the demon poster, because he misses him. But in actuality, he threatens to kill him. No, I'm not kidding. He threatens to kill his supposed best friend. It's almost like they're not best friends at all, huh?
Reality can be whatever I want.
He also mentions later down the line that Frieren herself is very much like the demons because she is biologically incapable of feeling affection towards other people as an elf. And he suggests, since she is working towards going against her biology, that she is living proof that you can go against your biology, and therefore demons can too. But once again, he's just completely misinterpreting the lore. Frieren never says that elves are incapable of emotional attachment. What she actually says is that romantic interest is just lower for elves than it is for humans and other creatures. That they just have less urgency when it comes to reproducing. And it's supposed to explain why the elves are slowly going extinct. Throughout the entire manga series, even the beginning, we see that she clearly has emotions and attachments to people.
Like, if we take a character like Ubel, someone shown in the story to be fine with killing pretty much anyone, who has killed a lot and doesn't feel bad about it, and we compared her to a demon who did pretty much all of the same stuff she did, Can you think of any reason given by the story why Ubel would deserve mercy and be allowed to live, and the demon would not?
I guess it's because he's approaching this entire video believing that they are like any other fantasy race, like a dwarf or an elf, even though they are explicitly shown to be very different from all the other fantasy races. But he's basically taking this logic on another tangent where he's like, well, sometimes humans also do bad things. What makes humans different from demons, huh? You see, you spend this entire video comparing demons to being equivalent to humans, and it doesn't even occur to you that the whole point is that humans have the potential to act like demons. That is the crux of the concept of demons in the first place, is that they represent all of the worst parts of humanity. They represent all of the worst things that we can become. That in real life, people can be deceptive, people can be egotistical, people can act like what we think of when we think of demons. And what makes humanity moral and what makes us so special is that we strive to go against this impulsive and destructive behavior. Frieren is encouraging us to fight our inner demons. This is not unique to Frieren, by the way. This is kind of the whole point of the Bible as well. Demons are supposed to be temptations, right? To act in a way that is destructive, but benefits you, or benefits your ego, even if it's not benefiting everyone else. And the Bible is encouraging you to be selfless. Frieren, of course, takes this to a literal sense, but sometimes people enjoy to see a literal representation of fighting evil. As much as you don't like how the Lord of the Rings movies portrays all these orcs getting absolutely dunked on by the human armies, it doesn't matter because people loved those movies. People loved watching orcs getting fucked up because orcs are representing the worst parts of humanity, the parts that we do not want to see ourselves become. That's why it inspires us, is because we're seeing the destruction of something that we don't want to be. So when you point out, oh, well, Ubel is kinda evil too, what makes her different from a demon? You're kinda like missing the whole point. It's not just the demons that are evil in the series. There are evil humans too. Like, is the assumption that Ubel is going to be redeemed at some point and that she's going to be a good guy later down the line? Because I personally don't think that's what's going to happen, considering her name literally means bad. But I don't know, maybe I'm just gonna be proven wrong, huh? Who's to say, but maybe you shouldn't make that assumption. But to play along with his silly argument, the reason why you would kill a demon if you saw it on the street and not kill Ubel if you saw her on the street is the same reason why you would kill a serial killer and not just some random civilian. Because you know for sure that the serial killer is evil, while as a citizen picked out at random, you don't know. Demons, you know for sure, are evil. You know that they will always try to deceive you to convince you otherwise. But humans, you don't know if they're trying to deceive you or if they're being genuine. So it's a little bit more gray there.
But the idea of subversion is that it should add an interesting element to explore, or take some idea and build on it in a way you weren't expecting. Yet Frieren's demons are doing the exact opposite. They are stripping away interesting ideas to revert them back to their simpler form.
Okay, so what he is describing here is called return to form. And all of the interesting elements that Frieren added, you just disregarded or didn't understand. I think that the demon poster just genuinely has difficulty accepting new concepts. He seems to be very stuck in his own ways, applying his own philosophy and his own fantasy rules onto Frieren when it's not playing by your rules, it's playing by Yamada's rules. And this is not coming from someone who just blindly defends Frieren. I have my own critiques to throw at the series, but the problem isn't demons, as though that would fix the series. As though it would instantly become a better series if it became exactly like all these other anime series that do the redeemed villain or demons are misunderstood plotline. No, Frieren did so well because people were craving a return to form type of fantasy story. And I feel like it's worth pointing out that his argument throughout this video isn't even that Yamada is a bad writer exactly, because he's arguing that nobody can write this concept right. He's arguing that it is a concept no one should try to write, and that it could never possibly make sense to make an entire evil race. Why? Because he doesn't understand it and he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it, so don't write it.
I don't like it.
Wow, great argument. Awesome. And I think Frieren does touch upon a very relatable topic that not a lot of good versus evil stories actually do touch upon. Human compassion and empathy being taken advantage of. Because we see many of the humans throughout the story trying to be the better person, trying to do the right thing, and being taken advantage of by demons. Because in reality, humans do desperately want to be good people. They want to do moral and right things that will benefit all of the world. But we very often argue with each other on what is the right thing to do, what is a proper balance of compassion and logic.
A lot of especially extreme ideologies already promote the eradication of groups you consider morally lesser than you outside of fiction. So if you believe in one of those ideologies, well, you'd want to agree that the characters in Frieren or Starship Troopers should do just that.
And there it fucking is, folks. You're a Nazi. Oh, if you want demons to die, then that must mean you want some other human race to die. Why is it that when I hate alien bugs, the implication must be that I'm a racist and not that I just don't like small bugs? Oh, why don't you like this bug that farts plasma? Well, I don't like bees, so you can put two and two together here. I do find it incredibly funny that this guy opened up his video by saying that he made this video out of spite towards Twitter, and then closes this video saying that he doesn't care about Twitter or what they say.
Am I so out of touch? No. It's the children who are wrong.
But I did want to, of course, share my thoughts on this video and explain why this is a very silly position to take when it comes to Frieren. I understand, like, bringing up some criticisms here and there in the Frieren series, but it seems like all of his criticisms are just trying to say you can't make evil races, essentially trying to prove his philosophy first and foremost, rather than actually critiquing the material first and foremost. But anyway, this video has gone on long enough, so thank you guys for watching my little response here. Let me know what you think about demon posting down below in the comment section. Like the video if you did like this response. Subscribe to see more videos from me. I'm a pretty cool person. I'll even give you 15% off Burning Star comics when you use code DANFAN. Yes, that's right. Go check out some indie comics from some great creators and artists out there. Use code DANFAN, get 15% off just in time for the holiday season. I'll see you next time, guys. Bye!
Program restart.